There's a moment, quiet and invisible, when a person starts to feel as though the world is moving forward without them. When the streets get louder, the screens get brighter, the pace becomes unbearable, and it seems as though life no longer makes room for silence, for stillness, or for those who carry time in their eyes. You scroll through photos that mean nothing. You hear conversations that no longer include you. And in the deepest hours of the night, or even in the middle of a crowded day, a question echoes inside. Have I already given all I had to give? It's a question the young rarely ask, but those who've walked decades, who've buried dreams, sacrificed for others, rebuilt themselves, after loss, they know this ache well. It's the ache of being unseen, of wondering if your time has passed, of watching the spotlight shift to younger faces, faster minds, louder voices. But let me tell you the truth that no one puts on a billboard, no one teaches in schools, and very few stop long enough to remember. You were never left behind. You were planted deeper. You were not in the background. You were in the foundation. You were not forgotten. You've become essential, because there comes a point in life where your worth is no longer measured by how many people know your name, but by how deeply you've learned to live without needing to be seen. You've become the quiet presence that holds others together, the unseen strength that steadies the shaking, the wisdom that doesn't interrupt but listens longer, the patience that doesn't preach but simply stays even when others would run. We live in a world that worships momentum, attention, novelty, but the deepest truths, the ones that save lives, rebuild hope, heal broken spirits, those are truths you carry, not because you read them in a book, but because you lived them. You learned how to stand when everything was falling apart. You learned how to let go with grace. You learned that pain doesn't always mean punishment. Sometimes it means transformation. And now you walk with that invisible cloak, the one woven from years, from loss, from laughter, from faith, from failure, from forgiveness, the one that makes you invisible to the noisy, but irreplaceable to the wise. Have you noticed? People don't always come to you for advice. They come to you for peace, for a presence that doesn't demand anything in return, for the rarest kind of strength, the one that doesn't need recognition. You are no longer trying to prove yourself. You're no longer racing to be understood, because you have become something much more powerful, a witness to truth, a vessel of experience, a keeper of time. And maybe the world doesn't stop to thank you. Maybe you don't get the applause. Maybe no one sees the sacrifices you made, the tears you held back, the dreams you let go so someone else could live theirs. But the world stands because people like you held it up. When families fell apart, you stayed. When others gave up, you endured. When silence was all you had, you turned it into peace. And here's the paradox that only age reveals. The less the world sees you, the more important you've become. Because what is essential is never loud. It doesn't clamor, it doesn't perform, it simply holds. And that's what you do. That's what you are. You are not waiting to matter again. You've simply grown into a truth that younger souls haven't reached yet. That life is not about being noticed. It's about being true. So if you feel forgotten, remember this. You are in the stage of life where your very existence gives permission for others to slow down, to breathe, to reflect, to ask deeper questions. You are the sacred pause in a world addicted to noise. You are not behind, you are beyond, and this world needs you more than ever. So why does this stage of life feel so heavy? Why, if we've grown wiser, more patient, more grounded, does the world still make us feel like we're fading? It's because the truth, the real truth, is rarely comfortable. And the older we get, the closer we come to it. This is not the age of decline. This is the age of confrontation, where all the masks fall away, where illusions lose their power, where noise becomes unbearable, not because we're fragile, but because we've heard enough to know what matters. This is the stage of life where noise becomes insult. Empty praise sounds false. Shallow goals feel ridiculous. The rush of the world feels almost pitiful. Why? Because you've entered the age of truth, and truth doesn't scream. It whispers. It echoes in silence. It waits behind grief, beside regret, underneath years of pretending. At 20, we chase approval. At 40, we chase purpose. But beyond that, we begin to see not just what life gave us, but what it took. Not just what we became, but what we lost on the way. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still waking, still watching the sun rise, still remembering what others have forgotten. You've walked through love and death, success and disappointment, joy and depression. You've said goodbye to people you thought you couldn't live without, and still you remained. You've tasted the bitterness of letting go, of watching the world change its shape and rhythm, ignoring the depth of your journey. But what the world forgets, eternity remembers. Because with each passing year, you've been shedding what doesn't last. Roles, titles, ambitions, illusions. You've been returning, slowly, silently, to the core of who you are. And that core, it's unshakable. Not because it's untouchable, but because it has been touched by everything. You are a soul weathered by time, yes, but like ancient stone, you've become sacred through endurance. Every scar you carry is a scripture. Every silence you've held is a sermon. Every person you've loved, even the ones who left, is part of the cathedral built inside you. So if this life feels quieter now, it's not because it's ending. It's because you're finally arriving in a place beyond performance, beyond chasing, beyond pleasing. And in this place, there's one question that becomes louder than any applause ever was. Who are you when no one's watching anymore? You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not irrelevant. You are closer to the center than ever before. This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where truth finally has room to speak. So, are you listening? There is a quiet injustice that happens as people grow older. Not loud, not violent, but deeply corrosive. The world slowly stops asking you things. It stops asking for your opinion, stops asking for your patience, stops asking for your memory, stops asking for your wisdom. Not because you no longer have value, but because the world has confused speed with truth. Modern life worships urgency. It bows to youth, novelty, and instant reaction. It celebrates those who speak first, not those who speak wisely. Those who move fast, not those who move with meaning. And so, slowly, subtly, you're pushed to the side. Not rejected, just overlooked. But here is what almost no one tells you. Civilizations collapse, not when they lose strength, but when they lose memory. And memory lives in people like you. You carry things no algorithm can replicate. You remember a world before constant distraction, before everything was documented, before value had to be proven every second. You remember when presence mattered more than performance, when a conversation didn't need witnesses, when silence wasn't feared, it was respected. And that memory, that perspective, it is not obsolete, it is rare. And rarity is not weakness, it is responsibility. The philosopher Spinoza believed that everything that exists has a role within the order of nature. Nothing is accidental, nothing is wasted, nothing is too late. If you are still here, still breathing, still aware, then your existence is not a mistake. It is a continuation. You are not here to compete anymore. You are here to stabilize, to remind a chaotic world that not everything must be rushed, that not every answer must be immediate. That depth requires time, and time requires endurance. Your role now is not to shout over the noise. It is to outlast it, to embody something increasingly rare, calm in a frantic age, discernment in a reactive culture, and dignity in a world addicted to exposure. And maybe, just maybe, the loneliness you sometimes feel is not abandonment. Maybe it is space. Space being created around you because your presence carries weight, because wisdom needs silence to breathe, because guidance doesn't come from crowds, it comes from those who have survived them. So ask yourself, what if this stage of life is not about being seen, but about seeing clearly? What if the world hasn't turned away from you, but is waiting for you to stand firm while everything else keeps spinning? Because when the noise finally collapses under its own exhaustion, it will be voices like yours that still make sense. And the question is no longer whether the world needs you. The question is, are you willing to step into the role this moment is asking of you, even if it comes quietly? There's a strange and sacred transformation that happens in the later chapters of life. The world thinks you faded, but spiritually, you've only become more transparent. Not invisible, transparent, which is to say, the light can now pass through you. You are no longer the performer, you are the witness. No longer the noise, but the echo. And echoes matter. In ancient philosophy, echo was not silence. It was the voice of the divine returning to you, the whisper of eternity, reminding you that nothing spoken in love, in truth, in pain, is ever lost. You've carried burdens, buried people, outlived dreams. You've lost things no one even knows you held, and still, here you are. Why? Because some wisdom cannot be earned in motion. It comes in the stillness, in the aftermath, in the quiet conversations between you and God, where there are no cameras, no applause, no followers, only presence. Jung once said that the second half of life is not about ambition, but about meaning. Not about building things, but understanding what you built and why. Not about conquering more, but becoming less attached, less anxious, less impressed by the temporary. You were not forgotten, you were refined. Like gold in fire, everything unnecessary has been burned away, leaving only what matters: dignity, patience, faith. And when people say you're too old to matter, they are revealing how little they understand time. You have become a living archive, not just of memories, but of meaning. You are the tree that doesn't chase the sun. It stands where it is, and lets the world revolve around its shadow. And yes, there will be grief. Yes, there will be moments where the silence feels like abandonment. But what if the silence is sacred? What if it's not absence, but reverence? What if God stopped shouting so that you could speak? Because there are people around you, younger, lost, unsure, who are desperate for what you now carry so quietly. Not answers, not strategies, but presence, groundedness. The look in your eyes that says, I've been through it, and I'm still here. And that alone might be someone's lifeline. So before you call yourself forgotten, ask yourself this: what if you are not being ignored, but positioned? What if instead of fading, you are finally becoming everything you were meant to be? There's something almost unbearable about surviving, to keep breathing while others do not, to wake up again when so many mornings have taken everything from you, to sit with the aching weight of memories that no one around you remembers. This is the loneliness of time, but it is also its blessing. Because while others are busy chasing youth, you have been granted something they can't even recognize yet: perspective. Not the kind you read in books or hear in speeches, but the kind that costs, the kind that is paid in funerals, in failures, in forgotten anniversaries and hospital rooms, the kind of perspective that is not earned through ambition, but through endurance. And maybe that's why the world doesn't know what to do with you anymore, because it has become a world obsessed with speed, image, and novelty, a world that idolizes the temporary and fears the lasting. But you, in your quiet existence, are proof of the eternal. Your body may not be as strong as it once was, but your presence is heavier, your words fewer, but more sacred, your time shorter, but more holy. You've stopped needing to be seen, because you now know who you are when no one is looking. You've stopped needing to be right, because peace has become more precious than pride. You've stopped needing to be young, because you've finally seen the lie in youth's promises. And you've started to understand, truly, that being alive is not the same as being awake, and that being awake in this world is no small miracle. So here is the quiet truth. You are not past your purpose. You are not useless, or voiceless, or invisible. You are essential. You are the sage on the hill, the shepherd of stories, the soul who has seen too much to be naive, and yet still soft enough to believe in love. Your purpose now is not to do more. It's to be more present, more patient, more eternal, because someone is watching you, learning from you, listening to the silence around you, and wondering if it speaks. So let it speak. Let your life become a quiet sermon. Let your years be a lighthouse. Let your silence say what noise never could, that it's not too late, that the end is not the end, that you are not forgotten. You've simply become essential. Now, what will you do with the time you still have?